Hey guys, so last time we went over Git and GitHub, and this time we're going to go over Vercel. So Vercel is where we're going to host the site. It's where the site's going to appear when it's online. This is the easy part, so I'm really excited to do today. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take a new tab here. I'm also going to make myself smaller. Alright, so I'm going to reduce myself to here, put myself over there. Let's see. There we go. That works. And then we are going to go to Vercel. So you're going to want to create a new account. Let me just do vercel.com just so you can see what it looks like. So here's the home page. As with all websites, it'll probably change over time. You're going to want to do sign up. So when you sign up, let's see, working on personal projects. Hobby is a free version of Vercel, which is awesome. You can upgrade to Pro at any time. It's about $20 a month. Let's say if I wanted to do carry test as a demo, and then I would recommend connecting with your GitHub account. So when you sign up with your GitHub account, it allows for the connection to sort of happen seamlessly, so you don't have to do any more extra steps. So once you do that, I'll show you what the dashboard looks like. I'm going to sign in here. Okay. So here's my Vercel project. So I'm on the Pro plan. I use it for a lot of my work. And you can see it comes with $20 of credit, which is kind of cool. You can use it in anywhere you want to. This is all stuff you can deal with later. And so here are all my projects. Let me do Traveling Coder, my blog. So if we do this one, you click up on this once the project is made. We'll go over that in a second. Here you can see the site. I need to work on the homepage a little bit. Here's the domain, so it's attached to this domain. And then we get stats here. So we can see number of visitors, we can see people who's online, analytics, active branches, deployments, logs, analytics. All of these are things you can play around with. I'll link to some documentation as always. The important thing is we're going to go back. So here's the main dashboard. We're going to click Add New for our project. Add New Project. And then from this, we have Painter Portfolio here. We're going to click Import. And it auto detects that it's a Vite project right here, and maybe it's Vite. I believe it's Vite. There's a lot of programming things for me personally. I don't claim to be a massive expert on jargon or pronunciation because there's so many things that you just read and you don't necessarily talk or say out loud or get to know. So there's definitely a lot of debate on how certain things are pronounced, like GIF or GIF. And so anyways, we're going to click after we have all that set up. So you want to make sure that Vercel auto-detected. So auto-detected application preset. We can ignore build and output settings, environmental variables. We'll deal with that in the more advanced section. Right now we can ignore. So you have that, and then you click deploy. And then this means that Vercel basically has servers and other locations that it manages, and it creates an artifact, or it builds the project file and allows it to be hosted. So that means that this project file now exists on a Vercel server. It's built, so it has all the attributes that we need in it to display. Sort of same thing as when we do local builds here. It just does it on a server that never goes to sleep. So the server stays up. That means that the website stays up on that server. The server doesn't go to sleep, and then people can access that server, that website, whenever they want to. So here's the site. It says, congratulations, you just deployed a new project. And we're going to go continue to dashboard. And there we go. And you can click, so right here, domain. Vercel automatically gives you a domain, which is quite nice. So we can go to the domain. Here we can see the website. We can see all the cute twinkle stars, the shooting stars, view collection, and so on. And of course, there is still a lot more that needs to be done for this site to make it pop, for real world. Go over a bit of that. You can pause the video here if you want to, or end it, or go to the next one. One thing I do want to show is what do you do when something goes wrong. So let's say we have this. Okay, so I'm going to comment that out. With Vite and Next.js, when you are building files, so this is a JSX file, which is what we got from, the same file we got from ChatGPT or Claude. JSX, it's JavaScript with XML. You don't necessarily need to know that. I just like peppering in some words so you pick it up as you continue on your tech journey. These are libraries import, so import data of this package, this library. There's lots of different names for it depending on the programming language. So import this. It gives it information, it tells it what to do, and then it has, so do you see how it says portfolio and portfolio? So that means it displays the portfolio from this file. So it could be import React would be more of a framework. Then we have React DOM is a more of a library, I guess you can kind of say. And then portfolio.jsx is something that we have built, and it's telling it to bring in that file that we built, create an instance of it, and put it into this website, into the framework. And so that's what this is. So if we comment portfolio out, it doesn't, now we have the word portfolio here. It doesn't know where it comes from. It doesn't know what it is. It's going to cause an error. So let's see. This is a good review. We're going to add this. So git add period, git commit, and then I to insert purposeful bad commit. Escape, WQ, right, and then quit. And then we're going to do git push. And then we're going to go back to Vercel. Okay. So deployments. Deployment is every time you push to GitHub. And then Vercel detects that you have put new data into GitHub, and it automatically rebuilds the code. So automatically rebuilds. Let me get rid of that. It automatically rebuilds, and that means that every time you make changes locally, you can test it locally, and then once you push it to GitHub, that's when Vercel will pick it up and then make the changes, rebuild it on their server, and then have it show up on the internet at large. So sometimes in Vercel, even though some of the file is missing, it will still build okay, especially in Vite. It'll still build okay. This is less likely to happen in Next.js. And when that happens, so we put in the bad commit. And this bad commit means that this portfolio, which is sort of what the whole site is built on, is no longer able to be found in this file. So what does that mean for our site? It's gone. Like it's able to load the site because it's able to build. It just doesn't build anything. Here is where I'll show you my little trick, and I'll move myself there. Okay. Hey you, I built this web app and I have put it on Vercel. Nothing is showing after deployment, so after I did push to GitHub. Can you help me to investigate? So you can ask it something like that, and it's going to check all the files. One thing to keep in mind is that each request you make to Cursor does actually cost you money, and it costs you tokens. So this isn't ideal. It's why it's build your knowledge of software, build your knowledge of frameworks. We're just going to see if it can find the issue. Interesting. So what it's doing is it's searching all along the web. It's assuming that we have something wrong with the build. It hasn't even checked that one of the files is commented out. So we're going to do npm run build because that's what it changed, and it built just fine. Here's a perfect example about why code isn't always great. It's not always going to find the answer, or sorry, AI. Why AI isn't always going to find the answer. This is, ironically, I'm probably going to have to refilm and find an actual solution in which it shows the problem being fixed. But this is really ironic. I was trying to show you how cool it is that it's able to fix things for you, and here we go, it's unable to fix. I am going to try, so there's different models here. I am going to try a bit of a smarter model. I know Sonnet is quite smart. Hey, I'm going to say Vercel was able to build this previously. Something is wrong in the files. We're just going to help it out a little bit. So not assuming its previous configuration was breaking it. There we go. Actually, I should look more carefully at the actual files to spot bugs. There we go. It found it. And now it's going to run and build, which actually won't tell you anything because it's going to build just fine. But look, you can see it comments over the red line here, removed it. Gonna make it a bit brighter. The red line here means that the AI removed it. The green line here, the green highlighted line means that it added it in. We're gonna do keep all. Git commit. Fix bad commit. And then we're gonna push it. All right. Here it is, you can see it building. So if I click in on that, you can see build logs here. It built just fine. Vite tends to build really quick. And would you look at that? It's back. It worked. So that's just an idea. I wanted to show you how to troubleshoot some of these issues. AI is pretty good. It's getting better and better, but it doesn't always fix your issues. It's good to ask it questions and to kind of learn as you go along what could be wrong. Sometimes it's wrong the first time, like it was this time. And you just have to keep asking it or provide it more information, give it more context, and it can usually help you out pretty quick. And another thing I'd like to point out is that when you do have trouble building, so sometimes you'll have a deployment failed on Vercel. And when that happens, you can usually copy and paste the error. And I will show you on one of my example ones for, it usually happens in Next.js, some other more complicated projects. When that happens, you can usually copy and paste the error into Cursor to get the results, hopefully to help troubleshoot what's gone wrong. Google is also a very good ally in this. So let me see if I can find an example project. Okay, perfect. I found one. So in deployments here, all right, so I'm in my blog and we're here. You can see the deployment. So this is all the times I have done git push. And you can see there's a lot of green and some reds. You click on the red. Here we go. So this issue is there's a vulnerability, so I had to update. And it tells you what to do. So I can click learn more and it'll give me instructions. Or, here we go, please update. So if I had this error, so let's say we were doing this course and you found out you had this error, or we had this error ourselves, what you can do is you can literally copy, take it back to Cursor, and say, hey, my code didn't build. It's giving me this error. And usually it'll fix it pretty quickly. One way you can test if it worked on a lot of them, Vite will always build, but you run npm run build, and then it'll test it locally before you push it up. You don't have to, because Vercel doesn't limit the amount of builds you do, which is quite nice, especially in the hobby plan. That's really wonderful. And that's really great because we started from ChatGPT and then we did Cursor and then we did GitHub and now we're on Vercel. So we've gone from taking an idea, taking it from the LLM, the large language model, putting it into code base that we can make changes to. So you can learn things about it, you can ask questions, you can use this AI. I think this AI works really well to make it human, is what I use all the time. You can work in here and then you can put it to GitHub. So you can make put it into like a library system. And you put the code in the cloud, and then you attach that to Vercel, which hosts it on a real computer in the real world on the internet. So anywhere in the world, people can see, let me just find the right browser. People can see this. This exists anywhere. I can send it to friends, I can send it to anyone, and it will appear. And I'm just gonna refresh to show, oh, how cool. And then I'm just gonna have this link for anyone to see at any time. So thank you so much. I appreciate your time.